For the first time ever, an increased high-grade cutoff of 0.7% nickel equivalent. And even at that higher grade, we've got perhaps 12 million tons at a 1.05% nickel equivalent grade. About half that actually is nickel. So this is us positioned very nicely against the US's only producing nickel mine.
Hello, welcome to Assay TV. We're here in sunny Cape Town at the One-to-One Mining Investment Conference, and I'm joined today by Michael Rowley, who is the CEO and President of Stillwater Critical Minerals. Welcome, Michael, to Assay TV. Stillwater Critical Minerals is a Canadian mineral exploration company focused on the Stillwater West PGE-Ni-Cu-Co Copper and Gold project in Montana, in the famously productive Stillwater mining district. Start things off, tell us a little bit about Stillwater, the company.
Sure, I'd be glad to, and thank you for hosting. We are focused basically on bringing the next phase of critical mineral supply to an iconic American district. Be happy to get into that in further questions here, but it's the district is surprisingly world-class, and Americans themselves don't talk about it enough. In addition, we have two other district scale assets, and one of them we've done a very good deal for. This is high-grade gold in Ontario with Heritage Mining, and we have a similar scale of project in the Yukon as well, but our focus is very much on that flagship Stillwater asset.
So your Stillwater West project there, it's adjacent to Stillwater's operations there, where they're mining. Tell us a little bit about how your project is similar or is different to what they've got there.
Sure, I'd be glad to. We're in the very fortunate position to share truly world-class geology and scale with an $8 billion major. There's literally nobody else in the district but us two. Their mining model is a more narrow, high-grade system. They're mining a reef deposit, the JM Reef. This is the highest grade palladium platinum mine in the world. Also nickel copper sulfide base there, which is worth noting. We're below them stratigraphically, and we can get into why that's significant in a coming question here. The significance to the investor is that we're bringing a bulk mining model to the district, economies of scale with that, and a lot more battery metals, a lot more nickel, copper, and sulfide, plus cobalt as well.
So you've just put out an updated mineral resource estimate. I think it was impressive 62% increase.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about sort of how that broke down?
Oh, yeah. Well, first of all, it's remarkable how low our discovery costs are here and how easy it was to add that 62%. This is a big and well-mineralized district. That's perhaps point number one. Two, the size of the increase speaks to the amount of metal that's in this system. Our neighbor, of course, has 100 million ounces of the highest grade palladium platinum in the world. So this is basically South African scale in Montana. I think one thing that the market was pleasantly surprised about our resource, and it's the third thing I'll flag, is the high-grade component that we added. We brought in for the first time ever an increased high-grade cutoff of 0.7% nickel equivalent. And even at that higher grade, we've got perhaps 12 million tons at a 1.05% nickel equivalent grade. About half that actually is nickel. So this is us positioned very nicely against the US's only producing nickel mine.
And you mentioned earlier the Bushveld complex there. How does Stillwater and Bushveld compare? And in terms of the projects that people might know about on the Bushveld complex, for example, what are sort of some analogies you might draw on that?
The parallels are well known. In fact, even the Wikipedia pages say that, which is, of course, the most reputable source. What's remarkable about Stillwater is how underexplored it is. And we were very fortunate last May to bring over two of Ivanhoe's best geologists. In fact, their former chief geologist is now our vice president of exploration, Dr. Danny Grobler. He's here at the show with me. And the parallels have only just grown. Everything they're seeing in the rocks is familiar to them. The same magmatic forces are at work. And it's remarkable the position we're in with our team that's very well versed in Stillwater, and then you bring in these two gentlemen that are very versed in the Platte Reef models and geology. And where this could go next is very exciting. I didn't actually roll the resource numbers in the resource question, but we're already at 1.6 billion pounds of nickel, copper, and cobalt, 3.8 million ounces of PGEs and gold. And that's 5 deposits across 9 kilometers that look like they want to connect. This is truly hitting Platte Reef scale.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And in terms of, you're based in the US there, and, the US has stated that they need to, produce more domestic critical minerals. How are you looking to tap into some of the policy that's coming out in the US and feed into that domestic demand?
It's remarkable, actually, how much the US is throwing at this now. And in fact, Canada and Europe are having to scramble to keep up, which is not expected, actually, a few years ago. Yeah, we've always worked with the U.S. Geological Survey. They've always been fascinated in the Stillwater complex. That relationship has grown now that they've got more funding, and we do indeed have proposals in with them to access some of this Inflation Reduction Act funding. Most recently, we are the chosen partner for a Cornell University study, and that was announced recently. This is very interesting work on carbon sequestration, and not only effectively mining carbon and putting it in tailings potentially, but in fact using carbon dioxide derived organics in a mining process. So hydrometallurgy driven with carbon sequestration, which is pretty exciting stuff for us. This is in addition to earlier work we're doing with Greg Dipple out of University of British Columbia and his ARCA group on carbon sequestration, mineral carbon sequestration into rocks.
Fantastic. So
yes.
that's really tapping into the theme of producing these minerals in a very sustainable and responsible way. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just worth on that final note flagging that 8 of our minerals have been listed as critical by the U.S. government, and in fact, this district has been producing them for over 100 years. So it's
fantastic.
It's a great place to be.
So looking forward into 2023, what are the sort of key milestones we should be looking out for?
Right. Well, news flow, obviously. 2022 results. Announcement of our 2023 exploration campaigns, which we expect will be our biggest ever. Focus will be on expansion, given the terrific expansion potential we see. In addition, further updates on the Ontario Gold Project from our partner there, Heritage Mining. They're doing great work. And we've had some good meetings recently on our Yukon critical minerals property as well. Not our flagship, but we'll be looking to advance that given the appetite for critical minerals, and then further work with Cornell and other groups more broadly.
Excellent. And your experience here at the one-to-one event, I mean, there must be people who are very experienced with, very knowledgeable about the Bushveld complex. How are they sort of hearing about your projects?
Our dance card is more than full. It's been a wonderful reception here in a beautiful setting. My first time, and actually the company's first time being here. And you're absolutely right about the South African parallels. And the number of friends that Danny and Albie have here from their multi-decades working here, it's making my job very easy.
Well, thank you for joining us here today on Assay TV and giving us the update on the company.
Thank you.
Thanks, Michael.
Cheers.